Hell yeah, brother.
High five, dude.
That was big time, man.
That was awesome.
That was awesome.
That was lit.
13 years and ain't nothing changed.
Nothing's changed. Nothing weirder than a 10-point victory in which you absolutely dominated everything and just beat their asses. What's up, Drew Kelson?
What up, what up, what up?
What's up, dude?
His palm never shook.
Never. The defense after that first drive.
Well, I was just watching the game almost bemused, like, oh, we're dominating these guys. And then
it was so fun to watch domination.
When the punt got blocked, I did a little of that. Drew, never sweat.
I didn't. Because the offense was just, they were driving. It wasn't like they weren't doing what they needed to do.
Yeah, that's what was so weird, man. Because, dude, we had several 80-yard drives. We just all the way down the field. It was just that was weird. But who cares, man? I don't care if you win by half a point. That was awesome, dude. The defense is so stone cold, man.
That was awesome,
dude. How many?
God, here's the bummer. We still haven't played a good schedule.
No,
yeah, I know. Because A&M
keep playing these sorry ass teams.
Exactly,
and we just aren't going to get any respect for that.
We still play nobody. We've beaten nobody.
Yeah, so, exactly.
That
narrative doesn't work out well for you when you lose the game.
No, and that's primarily and heavily according to the Aggies too.
That's right.
That's why it's funny. I'm like, you guys, you set yourself up for when we beat you guys to also not be a good team.
Yo, Jake.
Yeah. Best defensive performance since I don't know, man.
We've had a lot of great performances this year. This one just felt and meant more. Let's not.
Yeah. We shut them out.
We shut them out. Since OU.
When you do that to your two main rivals, that is no joke, man.
Yeah, I love it.
After them,
I love it, and we have a run game like Trey Wisner,
dude. So let's talk about Trey, because the offensive line played a fantastic game, but when A&M knew we were running the ball, that one of the last drives, they had a 9-man front.
Yep.
And Trey got 6 yards.
Yeah.
Yep.
He was hitting cutbacks. They could not stop him, dude. For 2 weeks in a row, Trey has not made any sense, dude. He just every time he touches 8 yards, 8 yards, 8 yards.
It's Walter Payton-ish. And I was watching the game with someone who, they watch Texas football in general, but they watch college football a lot. They haven't really paid. One of my friends was like, "Hey, who's this kid for Texas? Have y'all ever fed him like this before?" I was like, "No,
nope,
we've never fed him like this before." But he was eating tonight, and there's so many times where you're like, okay, there may not be anything there. He just has to take what he can get, and he's getting 6, 7, 8, 9.
Yeah. Dude, it was
we can win with that.
Yeah.
First of all, yes, we had turnovers and Ewers and all the other stuff. Regardless of all that, my main concern this year was when could we have the running game to lean on? When could we trust the running game to do something for us? And not necessarily even in the fourth quarter when people know we're running. It was just we need people to know we're not just throwing the ball.
Yeah.
So I know tonight was one step in the right direction. Actually, 2 after Kentucky last week. I want Georgia. I want to see how we look this next time against Georgia with our run game, with a healthy quarterback, with us kind of knowing a bit more of who we are.
Dude, yeah. Yeah, and that's a great thing, right? When quarterback's not showing up necessarily in that regard, we have a full team, man. Run game showed up, defense showed up. That's what I thought was awesome, man. How well-rounded. And Trey Wisner, did you see the video of him the shot of him on the bike? They had him on the bike on the sideline, towards the end of the fourth quarter. He looked exhausted, man. It was really funny. Go back when you rewatch it, look for that play. So he got 31 touches, I think?
No, more.
Oof. That was
more than 30.
That was sick. Oh yeah, where they away?
He plays for Texas.
I was gonna say, yeah, that seems pretty important, right? 33 attempts, man.
And then he also caught a couple, right? Yep. 35 touches.
Wow.
Over 200 yards.
Wow. Monster. Monster. On the biggest stage, the biggest game, the entire country's hyping it up. The entire country's rooting against Texas, regardless of the situation. There are people who do not want Texas to win. The SEC, the entire SEC does not consider us SEC. I know this from Auburn. I know this from Tennessee. I know this from Florida. I know this from people who go to all of these schools, have attended all of these schools. They root against us because we're new.
Yeah.
They wanted A&M to beat us because we're new, except for the LSU fans.
Well, it embarrasses them, right? The whole identity of the SEC is like we're this elite guard, and there's no way anyone could walk in here and survive. And then this year, I think it's combination. Texas is really good. The league is down, and so they're having to eat crow. So they want Texas to lose because their worst thing ever would be for us to come to the league and play for an SEC championship, and we came into the league and we're going to play for an SEC.
Based on today, college football is down.
Yeah.
Right? That's why you want to be in this playoff.
Yep. Man, that was fun.
Man, that was fun. I love seeing burnt orange like mixed into like the lower deck.
Yeah,
so I have friends that were at the game, and when we went up to 14-0, because I was asking them, I was like, "How many fans do you think are there, Texas fans?" And my co-host for EGAT was like 15K.
Wow.
And I was like, "Really?" And then when it was 14-0. I was like, you should be able to get a good count on Longhorn fans right now. And the fans that were there were like, yeah, dude, it's packed with Texas fans. And you can hear them. Pretty awesome.
This was interesting too, man. Gooseby, we knew he's going to be our left tackle next year, but he's going to be our left tackle for sure next year, man.
Yes. Fiduciary, you want to play right tackle?
Yeah. Yeah, dude.
Gooseby has great feet. And that frame is just going to get stronger and stronger.
Yeah.
He's lean. He's a lean 315, as funny as that sounds.
He made it look easy.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
Man, what a game. What a season. Like, the identity being defensive is huge for me. For no other reason than every game that we've lost, we're 20-3 or 21-3 over the last two seasons. The defense has been the liability. Even against OU, Quinn had those two interceptions or, untimely early in the game. The defense is what couldn't get the stops when we needed it.
Yeah.
Washington, the defense is who couldn't get the stops when we needed it. This year, of course, against Georgia was a completely different thing, but the defense and the run game for me, we can go beat anybody. And I mean, I expect us to go beat anybody because the defense travels. People are going to have to work to score against us. You can have an athletic quarterback. Okay, we can handle that. But yeah, I think Oregon is one where we got to see them in both ways. But I feel really good about whoever else we have to face the rest of the year. I can't even say that maybe 3 or 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, we rushed for 240 yards, Drew.
Oh gosh, man!
Against yards total, 248 for the Aggies total,
and against a good rushing defense.
That vaunted Aggie front got dominated and controlled by the Texas.
Dominated.
Yep, and that was awesome to see.
Cramping up, hurting up. It was a physical game.
Yep,
physical game, fellas.
Sugar Poppy, thank you. We're back, little brother. Like I said earlier, 13 years and nothing's changed, man. Oh man, ain't life sweet, fellas?
I love it. And then I have to go rebuild and figure the rest of this stuff out.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Hey, Vernon Broughton, unbelievable game, and he'd been pretty quiet the last 4 or 5 games. He balled out today. The whole line played very well, but
man,
boy, Broughton just very impressive. Makuba lighting people up, a huge PBU on a 3rd and long that was absolutely clutch.
I was scared.
Called for a targeting.
I was going to say that scared me.
Someone with his pads moving laterally. I guess that's illegal on a football field now. Drew, I'm trying to get Drew activated. He's too calm.
I'm happy they reviewed it. because when it first at live, I was like, oh man, I get him throwing his body out there, but man, that may be targeting. When they slowed it down, I was like, I like the slow-mo. I think the slow-mo is going to help us out.
Yeah. Well, the slow-mo where you lead with your pads and just tackle the guy. And,
right.
I mean, it turns out like people's heads hit each other incidentally when you tackle someone.
Right. Like you can't call that. So
any hard hit is just going to get a call, and you know that. So
good game to you guys. Well played in every aspect. Reed was shell-shocked, and our offense never got started. Looking forward to next year's game. Thank you, Salty Matt.
That was fun.
We'll see you next year.
Yeah, I think the Aggie offense learned the Texas defense is legit.
Yeah, even the announcer said, like, Texas hasn't faced an offense of this caliber. I'm like, I really don't think people understand how good this Texas defense is. Like,
no, it's college pride.
Freaks, man.
We're good.
We're the best in the country. Like, it's like, and we're clutch on top of that. It's like stat padding.
3 fourth-down stops.
Yeah. That's big boy stuff.
Manning's run
was wild. Dude, this what did we used to call it? What do we used to call it with swoops? Was it 18-wheeler or
18-wheeler
package? When he brought Arch in, dude. After Quinn's red zone performance in the second half, I was like, oh, maybe I get why we're doing Manning in the red zone. But that was fun, man. The first touchdown after 13 years is Arch Manning. Like, what's going on? That was sick.
That's going to get some that poor guy's going to get some grief in the A&M DB room, and he's going to be like, you try to tackle that guy in the open field. Like,
yeah, dude. Being 6'4" is helpful.
I know he looks like a frat guy in his little, shorts and polo, but he's a big, strong dude.
Yeah.
Arch is different, dude.
Dude, ESPN had that clip up so fast. It was incredible.
They couldn't wait.
It was
a lot of eyeballs.
Dude, it was incredible.
Oh, hey, Tyler Mayer, underrated comment. You got to pull that up. That is what this is about at some level. The most recent chat.
I can't wait to go to work next
this
week, dude. Yeah, that is what it's about.
Yeah, you work in corporate America or a small company, there's going to be Aggies in the workforce, and they were yapping all week, and now you're going to stroll in, like, just a big smile. How was your weekend?
I can't wait.
Well, dude, the analysis coming from the national guys was just drivel. It was all 12th man, nothing about what was occurring on the field. Like, that was absurd to hear, quote unquote, football analysts being like, I think A&M can win because A&M real loud. It's like, that's what we're giving the audience.
The 12th man.
Hey, I do have to say, I think that was the most raucous, loudest environment possible they're capable of.
I just think that's overrated. I've always thought that's overrated.
Think that when you have a composed football team, it just doesn't. It's not that big.
For 4 quarters, it's overrated. I mean, the thing is, especially if you thrive on being hated, if you thrive in those type of atmospheres, even at home, you get up at home, your crowd stops cheering, everybody stops cheering. It's like, okay, it sucks. On the road, you could be up 14, and the crowd on the road will remind you, oh yeah, we're still hated. Like, okay, we have to go put up points, like, because y'all still hate us. Like, we have not proven to you all that you just need to shut up. So let's go. It's just different on the road. It's overrated. I've always felt like playing there is overrated. They're all in sync. They have cheers and chants.
I was going to say, they literally do rehearsals and pep rallies to make sure.
It's not intimidating. It's not intimidating. You just want to go play football.
But those yell leaders are pretty intimidating.
Dude, I watched the live, I don't know what they call their little performance where they do the worst stand-up comedy of all time. Man,
I can't watch it.
Dude, it's so weird, dude.
I'm embarrassed for them.
Dude, it literally makes me uncomfortable when I watch it.
It's like watching an episode of The Office, the British Office.
Yeah.
Where you're crawling out of your skin at how uncomfortable the situation is.
Dude.
You want to stop them and be like, hey, man, like, just don't do that.
No one thinks this is cool. Even the people in the audience.
Cheerleaders. There's some cute girls at A&M now. Like,
yeah, dude. What it's like, I'm like, all the guys in the like, you guys know this is not good. Why are we doing this? Oh, here we go. My boy Taft too. I told you guys he's my favorite. That pick, man.
That was
early.
Sweet.
That was nice, man.
Almost had another.
Yeah. Dude,
hey, Drew, were you surprised how frequently we just played two safeties deep and basically just said, you're not getting anything over our heads, so you guys do whatever you want near the line of scrimmage. Eventually we'll stop you.
An underrated part of this game was our D line versus their O line.
Yeah.
Everyone was talking about the reverse of it. I think that's where think that's where things shine tonight. I mean, they protected when they needed to protect, A&M's O-line, but on the money downs, situational downs, that's where we ate. We ate well. I mean, Broaden, the fourth downs, the turnover on downs, like those are real plays. They call it turnover on downs for a reason. It's because you have to earn them. These weren't 4th and 13, end of game, Hail Mary type situations. These were, watch my language here. These were feet in the ground, 10 toes down. You're anchored in, and you have to go fight. And that's why I'm proud of the fourth down plays, because they were all fighting plays. They were all plays where I told you, Paul, at least in the chat, it's like I was ready for some trickery or misdirection on that last goal line stand. I was like, oh, y'all want to do this?
Y'all want to go heads up with us?
I would do that all day.
Let's talk about that fourth down, because I'm like, pop pass coming, right? And we shifted late. I don't know if you guys saw that. We kind of presented an open area on the left. We overloaded to the right. And at the last second, guys sprinted up on the left. And it was a 11-man front. Like there were two guys right behind, and it was 9 across basically. And A&M ran right into the teeth of it. I mean, if they just run a tight end out there and have Marcel flip it out, it's a touchdown.
Well, what's funny is in leading up to that play, I saw 17 and 84, their tight ends. They had 3 tight ends in the game. I was like, oh, man, they have to be throwing to a tight end. Because if not, put another O-lineman in the game, put anybody else in the game. You're bringing 3 tight ends out. You have to be going to one of these guys. I don't know which one, but you have to be going to one of them. That was a perfect way to play it, because you anchored the left side of the line with the shift, but then you crashed from the backside so heavily. Ethan Burke didn't hesitate. His job was purely come straight down the line and go through whatever's there.
Yeah.
It was I'll take it all day. But that's an ego call. That's an ego. We want to punch you in the mouth. We want to come down, and that's not who you are. That's not who you are against us. And it didn't happen today. It just did not happen today. So maybe they'll have some trick plays in the bag for next year.
Well, I think they're forgetting. Moss ain't back there. It's
Moss wouldn't have mattered on that play.
Moss wouldn't have mattered.
Moss wouldn't either. But I'm talking about the ego of like, hey, we'll run it on you. It's like you guys don't have your number 1 NFL back. You have to adjust that.
And like, we're not LSU.
Yeah.
Like, LSU doesn't have a dude who could start for us. Seriously.
Oh, but they have the coach.
They have a coach who could get a redder face than our coach, for sure. Yeah. But, I don't think it was so much arrogance as like an inability to estimate that you were leveling up and that you better put in some trickeration and some deception into your offensive game plan. Because this idea that you're going to pound Texas and then throw the ball down the field, like, have you been watching us?
No, dude.
We haven't played anybody.
Oh, I forgot. I keep forgetting that.
We do it against everybody else.
Colorado State, remember?
Because of the way we played Georgia, that means all of the SEC is Georgia and equal to Georgia in that, so.
Well, and our defense kind of kicked their ass.
Since we didn't do it against Georgia, I guess we couldn't. It's, you know what? I'm comfortable with everybody being confused or disturbed or not really understanding that we come to play football. I just feel like it's still an understated thing. So, we play Georgia next week. I don't know what SEC team we may have a chance of playing in the college football playoff.
We'll play one or two
at this point, but this whole idea that Texas hadn't played anybody without being able to put into context how our defense is showing up, or that we don't lose to trash. We haven't. I mean, and there are years, make no mistake, Texas, the brand, you just say Texas over the last 13 years, we've lost games we shouldn't have lost. Yeah. Against teams we shouldn't have lost them to. It is what it is. But that's not who this team is. And every game this season, the defense has anchored this team. That's without special teams help. That's without offensive help some games, a lot of games. That's without the running game help. That's just going out there and being gritty and grinding, regardless of the situation, turnovers, everything else. You got to be proud of this defense and the way they've led this team this year. This has been a defensive team, and I think our offense is finally coming together at the right time. I'm very proud of the way these guys showed up.
So I thought today the other rivalry games were very instructive, which is we jumped out early. It looked like it was going to be decisive. Murphy's Law happened. Stuff happened. The game got a little tighter. Texas kept their composure. Think about how Ohio State folded when they looked up at the scoreboard in the fourth quarter and there's 10 minutes left of the game. It's still 10-10. It was supposed to be 31-10 at that point, Drew. They were supposed to be throwing bombs and running up the score. And Ohio State's uptight coaching, I think they infused losing into that team.
It's crazy.
I thought our defense and our offense, frankly, was dialed up at the appropriate level of execution versus
intensity.
Because on defense, you could be just ready to run through a wall and everyone bites on play action and it's a 70-yard touchdown, right? You're playing hard, but you're losing your mind. I thought the whole team was very composed. Quinn Ewers had a couple of moments, admittedly. I thought the team and the staff just were at the perfect level of we're fired up. We're going to match your intensity and physicality, but we're also going to execute, and this is the football game.
Cool. It was beautiful, man.
Yeah, 1 second. Before we keep going, guys, we got to let the audience know about David McClellan.
I'm just going to say, guys, you probably need a fiduciary financial advisor. And I've got the guy for you. His name is David McClellan with Forum Financial. He works broadly and deeply with his clients as a financial life coach. And he should know something about coaching because he won several national championships as a swimmer for the University of Texas. He specializes in financial planning and has contributed numerous articles to Kiplinger on the topic of retirement tax bombs. So contact David today to be your fiduciary financial planner and schedule a 1-hour consultation to assess your financial situations. The free consultation is available, so just give him a call. The number is 312-933-8823. That's 312-933-8823. His email is also in the description below.
Thank you, LC.
We're going to ask David if swimmers choke. If they get all...
Yeah. Like the last 3 meters, he just panicked. He drank some water accidentally.
Hey, you want to hear something sick?
Yeah.
The ACC title game, do you know who's playing?
Clemson and
Miami got
SMU.
Yes.
It's brutal.
Clemson and SMU. If SMU wouldn't have lost that game to BYU, I mean, goodness, man.
Oh my gosh,
dude, it was crazy.
Oh man, there's so much about this week that, frankly, for me, I had to ignore because I just get to the point where I'm tired of the talk, and it's just like even today, I was like, I'm cooking pancakes for the week. I'm meal prepping for the week today, just to try to see waste some time. And it finally gets to the part where it's 2 hours before game. I'm just I'm scrolling through Twitter and it's all these terrible takes. And I'm just like, gosh, man, I'm ready to play. I'm just ready for the guys to play. Because
13 years of takes, Drew.
It's just time to play. It's time to play. It's time to shut all this up. Now I know there's going to be talk about the refs and all this other stuff. I want to see how honest the Aggies are going to be with themselves.
No chance.
That's really what we get to see right now. Is how honest the Aggies are going to be with themselves. Are they going to be proud that they even had themselves in this position with a first-year coach? Or are they going to act like, like life was stolen from them? Are they, bad luck? At the end of the day, we've had hurt quarterback miss 2 games. We've had running backs get hurt. We've had all types of stuff. Everybody's had things happen. You keep playing. I think that's the real difference in this rivalry that I think will make more sense to us as the years go on. It's listening to the Aggies' response to how their season's going and unfolding. But now we have to play them. And so now it actually matters. Now it actually is going to matter year in and year out. It's going to get more annoying. But
here's a reality check for the Aggies. You got doubled up in yardage. You lost by double digits at home in front of the greatest crowd ever. And a bunch of Aggies, public media Aggies at least, were saying this is the most important game in the history of Texas A&M football.
Yeah,
okay?
Easy.
And they got physically dominated on both lines of scrimmage. And they've been in the SEC for 13 years, Drew. How many SEC title games have they played in?
0.
How many years have we been in the SEC?
1 year.
And who did we
not even a full year.
Who did we defeat to go to the SEC title game?
Them. They couldn't
and
stop
who would
us.
have gone had they been able to upset us by some miracle of God?
I got this one. A&M.
Very good. So I hope they're not honest with themselves. That would be great.
Welcome to the SEC, Aggies.
Now you're in the real SEC.
A&M, not SEC ready.
Still, after 13 years.
AR, we went to the darling of the SEC in Bama last year for a night game. Still have to line it up. Ooh-wee.
Oh, man. It's just, I mean, and this is how I felt about it, too. Like, we can all be frustrated. I think we're all burnt out on Ewers. Besides a few plays here and there and some big plays, obviously, Ewers did everything. Did some things tonight that we hadn't really seen him do in a while. I mean, just hitting some deep balls. I mean, making some throws. Great throw by Jaden Blue. Great catch by Jaden Blue in the back of the end zone.
Great catch.
Great neat. Like, he needled in a throw to Helm between 2 defenders.
That was a
for
crazy
first
good
down.
throw.
Like, Ewers balled. Like, I was getting text messages from people. It's like, Ewers sucks again. I'm like, chill out. Like, he is not perfect. He's far from perfect. But when the guy is dialed in to when Sark's calling, Sark had a man beater where I think DeAndre Moore came in on a motion and then ran an out route. Everything was just dialed in. Ewers just executing the game plan. I mean, I'm proud of Quinn Ewers for coming into this environment and doing what he's done on the road for us time and time and time again, doing his job. And Ewers with this type of defense on the road, I mean, this was a comfortable spot for him. So, he made some throws. He made some tough throws. I'm proud of him. He's going to continue to get beat up. We'll watch film and see some things and some plays he could have had. But we needed this game. We can say it, call it how we want. We knew we were the better team and all this other stuff, but we absolutely needed this game. And Quinn Ewers could have been the difference between us winning it or not. And he won it. Like, he actually made plays that helped us win this game, regardless of the negative plays that happened. Ewers came to play today. So, and that's right alongside Quintravion Wisner, who made his name known tonight on the national scale for sure. So, I'm proud of Quinn in the way he showed up.
I am well, with the ankle especially, man. Like, him going on some big runs, he's going to be hurting in the morning.
Dude.
You can't have those turnovers in the red zone. I mean,
no.
Those are not. I'm not absolving him of that. That was kind of getting ridiculous. You can't.
You got to understand the game situation there.
Right. Absolutely.
Like, that was tough.
Absolutely. He was tiptoeing down the sideline and then stepped out. He just didn't think they'd just give it up to him.
Yeah, whenever he went out of bounds, he was like on a brisk jog up the sideline. When he stepped out,
Well, so Cam Williams had an amazing block. The first guy that he got past, Cam Williams just stuck with this guy and drove him about 10 yards. And that cut off some backside pursuit. And then one of the receivers downfield, I can't remember who, I wish. Maybe it was Golden. But he had a guy just jacked up and the sideline wide open. I mean, I think that would have gone.
Yeah.
Had he been able to stay in because all the Aggie pursuit had been cut off. So I think he could have like lightly jogged into the end zone, which would have been hilarious.
Quinn did have a nice fade to Golden, which Ian and Paul talked about earlier in the week, and I said was not going to happen. Because
take that, Connor.
Fades, but we hit the fade. I know. I told Ian.
You know what I said was not going to happen?
What?
A special arch package.
Yeah, and it did. Yeah. Ian was on his game today, or on his game Thursday.
So Ian is a volume shooter. Ian makes 25 predictions,
right?
And then he resuscitates the threads that anything that was accurate, and anything else he buries it.
Yep.
That's how you play.
Volume shooter, man.
Yep.
No,
but I agree with you. I never
thought we never see Quinn throw that ball.
Go ahead, Drew. Sorry.
No, I was just saying that fade ball. When was the last time we seen Quinn even attempt to throw a fade? I mean,
a true fade.
Because we see the slot fade. We used to see it a lot more.
Yeah.
That was just a straight fade, was it?
It was. They had a late. It was a late switch route.
They did a little switch.
A fade is a go on the sidelines. It's a fade.
Yeah, beautiful throw. Golden was wide open. Just great job. Yeah, the Aggies, I got to say, boy, they were all over the screen game early, weren't they?
Yeah.
Just they knew the keys and they were firing.
They knew it. I was like, they know our plays right now.
Yeah.
I wonder where
they
didn't know the play where we handed off to Trey Wisner.
Yeah, they didn't know that one.
So the best part about our run game is I think we can lull people to sleep with the pass and then start running. It's almost like that. That's kind of what I think our formula has been the last 2 weeks.
We throw to run.
We throw to run.
Yeah.
And I don't know if that's a SEC thing. They're not used to that.
It's kind of a Sark thing.
That's a Sark thing. Yeah. They're not used to seeing that in the SEC. Like they're used to seeing run to throw or guys just, or more balanced. But we'll throw the ball and then we look up and there's a running back with 33 carries. They're not expecting that coming into the game plan.
Yeah.
Well, and we have the D-line depth on the other side.
Yeah.
That other teams don't. And so, I mean, it was quite predictable we were running the football through. Once Quinn had the fumble after the pick six, we were handing off the football. And A&M knew it, and they couldn't stop it. I mean, that's just guys that got worn out. They got beaten down, and they couldn't do anything about it.
It did feel, though, like the announcers, and I'm just going to call them the announcers, like they just didn't really have a good sense or pulse for what this team could be either. It was a 10-point win for Texas, but it was almost as if they were just anticipating there would be some type of surge or Texas would lay down. And these fourth down plays, I think were the fourth down stops, the goal line stops were the difference. And I think kind of getting them on board with, this is not – this game's over. Yeah. If A&M can't do that, this game is over. Because what else can A&M do?
Yeah.
I thought Elko's mismanagement of the clock in some situations was interesting and notable. In that first half, if you guys will recall, Stark runs out Arch in the red zone. Elko calls timeout. Mm-hmm. Sark puts out Quinn. Mm-hmm. Quinn throws the touchdown to Blue. That was the Aggies' last time out. In the end of half situation, they got the ball back. And because they were worrying about the clock, they kept having to run everything on the sidelines.
Yep. And
that was limiting the field, right? They got down to where if they could have just made one play in the middle of the field, you call a timeout and kick a field goal. And you could say, well, it's still 17-3. You scored. You brought it down to a 2-score game. Suddenly that pick six takes on a different dimension right? And Elko did that again in the second half. They frittered away a timeout on the fourth down call. Hey, man, you have to know on third down, are we kicking this if we don't get it, or are we going for it? You don't call a timeout and have a discussion.
And then you have your quarterback just buckling back up, like, okay, let's go for it.
Yeah, I mean, so that was bad game management right there by Elko. Very interesting.
So the thing I know, one of my boys who follows Georgia closely, he's a Georgia fan, follows Georgia closely. His perception has been that when people watch film on Texas, they just don't believe what they see. They're just like, can they be that physical? Like, are they really that good? Like, they just don't believe it. They just don't believe it. And there's just a sense that when people go into games, or when these teams go into games, they just assume, well, you know what? Texas did it against Mississippi State. They can't do it against us. Texas did it against OU. They can't do it against us. Texas did it against Michigan. They can't do it against us. Oh, well, they did it against Florida without their quarterback, which has nothing to do with anything. They can't do it against us. And maybe one of these days, people will believe what they see on film. But, I mean, every day, I mean, the film is – and it's natural to watch film in that way. It's natural to watch film and say, well, that won't happen against us. I know my job. I know my protections. I know my responsibilities. It's different when the ball gets snapped and you think you're plugging the right gap in the outside zone, and the back just he's elusive. The O-line is not going to give you time to really look and see and feel where you need to go. They're just going to maul you. Man, I'm proud. I'm proud of the way we ran the ball. I'm proud of the way our offensive line played. I'm proud of the way our defense played. This is the way we want to look in the SEC. Run the ball well when you need to. Play great defense, opportunistic defense, great situational defense, great situational offense, except for, a couple other things that happen. But, yeah, man. I mean, I know we played nobody today because, we haven't beaten anybody, but this one felt great.
Amen, Drew. Well, there's another person that we're going to give praise to, and that's our beloved sponsor. We're proud of this guy. His name is Gabe Winslow. Hey, you know what? We're all fired up. We're excited. We're in a good mood. Let's go buy a house. And this is the guy we need to call to do it. You can reach him at 832-557-1095. Gabe is over 20 years in the industry. He's fantastic at what he does. Former National Merit Scholar. He has a law degree. This dude's a Longhorn through and through. He was texting me in bipolar fashion this whole game. He is fired up. Call him. Text him. Say, hey, we're in the market. We want you in our corner. This is the guy you want working for you, not Joe Schmo from Big Bank who works from 9 to 11, takes a 2-hour lunch, and then works from 1 to 4. That ain't going to cut it for you. You got to get a Texan in your corner who's elite. That's Gabe. 832-557-1095.
Good stuff. All right, let's check in.
All right, how many let's look at our defensive stats here. I want to know how many PBUs Makuba had, and I want to know how many TFLs Broughton had. Broughton had 2 tackles for loss. Yep.
Yeah. And then Makuba had 1 breakup.
Man, I felt like he had a couple, but all right.
Yeah, when he almost went out for the targeting, I was nervous because he's made some huge plays for us down the stretch.
So we had 6 tackles for loss. Man, it felt like more.
Yeah. I think that's a problem too, because when the quarterback's running, it feels like a TFL no matter what.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, I mean, just A&M just didn't get no explosive plays. I mean, we really dominated their offense.
Just their designed one, like their like second play, that was clearly a script play.
Yeah.
That break our coverage. That was literally like it.
Yeah. It's funny when you can break a coverage or beat a coverage on a script play, but you just can't find those plays on any other down. That's an advantage and I can't remember who said that this week, guys. It could have been you, Paul. It could have been Ian, but we have several years of defense installed on our squad, right? Like, I mean, offense and defense. We just have layers of concepts built into everything we can do. There's no way Elko with a freshman or, first time starter quarterback, even this deep into the season, can just throw in and just manufacture certain things on either side of the ball that could beat us. So,
well, and to your point, Drew, Elko came in and had to just restock and start from scratch.
right.
So 4 of their 5 starters are transfers.
Yep.
And it's, we're in year 4, right, of PK. We brought in Nansen, who clearly had an imprint on this defense. I think Scotty Hazelton has had some input, particularly in how we deploy and use our nickel now a little differently. And it's all come together. And you got to credit PK because he owns the final product. And a lot of coaches, a lot of coordinators have way too much ego to take on a collaborative approach. And you see it all over football, both the NFL and college level, certainly high school. So
that's culture, and it goes to the staff. I hate to. I don't want to harp too much on culture because I always think culture doesn't matter unless you have wins. You can talk about culture all day. I mean, I have friends who play ball at Rice. I think Rice had a great culture.
Yeah.
But they didn't get the wins to go with it. But when you see the coaching staff values culture, values tenure, values connectedness, togetherness, collaboration, it passes. It's a part of the culture. It really is. From coordinating, well, at least from the defensive side of things, all the way down to the players. So, yeah, big ups to PK because you're right. He does own it. His name's on it.
Yeah. How many Aggies on defense get hurt today? They were trying to stop our momentum. Y'all didn't notice that. Well, I thought Ian made a point too. That pick 6 actually hurt them because they had to go for like an 80-yard drive, pick 6, and then turned out for like another 80-yard drive. And so it's like their defense, that's when they started cramping up. Do I think they were strategically cramping up at one point? Absolutely. But also, man, we had them on the field a bunch.
Well, Connor, I think your theory that Quinn Ewers threw a pick 6 on purpose to tire out their defense.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about that theory.
You don't think that was strategic?
It's speculative at this point.
Yeah. Well, see, that's because you guys can't think ahead like Quinn.
That's why you're also a flat earther, man. You see things
true.
that other people don't see.
Correct. I'm willing to go a little deeper.
You go deeper. You go on the internet and do the research that we lack.
Yes, dude. Trey Moore has been making his presence known. He and Simmons are going to be unstoppable next year if he stays. Yeah, Trey since Vanderbilt, man, has just been.
Yeah.
Trey should come back.
Yeah, I think he should come back too.
See, didn't the Aggies get some holding calls today? They were complaining about that. Did they get any holding calls that they needed?
A&M, dude, this. So that's the.
Hey, you know what? I do want to bring this up, Connor, because that's a great point, Drew. So that A&M D line, power rushers.
Yep.
I said coming in, we don't struggle with power rushers. It's just our guys aren't going to get beat out like that way. Like it's not going to happen. And so Nick Scowerton, a lot of hype coming in. Did you hear his name called?
No, he did nothing.
Irrelevant.
Nope.
And by the way, not to Kelvin Banks. That was to Gooseby. So did A&M get some pressure intermittently when they blitzed? Jaden Blue missed a linebacker on one of those. Flat out missed York on a blitz. And then they had a couple of decent little calls where they brought nickels and safeties and drop guys. And that was the only pressure. And it was pretty intermittent, to be honest. Our O-line didn't just dominate run blocking. I thought they were excellent in O-line. I mean, I thought the pass pro was great.
Yep, they did their thing.
So if you're built on power rushers, good luck because you're not going to draw a hold and you're not going to get the penetration you think you're going to get.
I was going to say, you need speed rush to generate holds.
And I think you need to play games with speed rush and mess up some of the pocket and get Ewers a little nervous, right?
Well, you get jacked up on overpowering inferior players and inferior offensive lines, but when it's time to make money downs, money situations against the talented offensive line, nothing happens.
Well, and that's the thing too about experienced older guys. Experienced older college football players are strong.
Yeah.
Like that sounds stupid, but 23-year-olds are stronger than 19-year-olds.
Yeah.
And that's just how it works. Like, so, I remember talking to a guy who played at a major program, and he said, it's always shocking to these incredibly elite young freshmen that come in who are not strong yet. And they do like a mat drill with a senior walk-on. And the dude kind of thrashes them, and they're all humiliated because it's a walk-on. But it's like, no, he's stronger than you. Like, just go get strong, and you'll kick this guy's butt because you're a better athlete. But you're not strong yet. And, we've got some older guys that have built up some man strength.
Well, look, it's funny as you're saying that. I'm over here thinking about Trevor Gooseby. I was like, man.
Yeah, that defies my whole point. That makes my whole point irrelevant. But
listen. But this is what happens though. Trevor Gooseby, who does he have to see at practice every day?
That's true. Guys like Sorrell trying to push him around.
I mean, Trevor Gooseby's getting. I mean, he's scout team. I mean, he's the second group.
Yeah,
he goes against these guys every day. So what's Nick Scorton when you're going against Trey Moore, Sorrell? I mean, you're going against dudes every day.
Yeah, and people are talking about the culture piece, and Drew's right. Well, this is a bad year to make this example because they played so above their heads. But Army has great culture, but most years, that culture is not the most material part of wins and losses, right? It's talent. Of course,
when you combine both, man, that's when you get real runs at national championships.
That's it. And there is no dominant team, folks. This playoff is wide open. Whoever plays well on any given night is going to win that game.
Texas defense is dominant. Not a dominant team, but the defense is dominant. I don't know if there are any other dominant units in the country. Maybe Miami's offense or whatever offense is playing against Miami's defense. But yeah, Texas defense, if you're just picking out, okay, what's dominant on any particular team, I got to go with Texas's defense. But all of that means nothing until next week. So we got work to do.
Guess what, guys?
What we got?
The champ is here.
All right.
Oh, he's sipping.
Juice? Is that apple juice?
He broke out the whiskey.
The apple juice.
That's pretty nice, ain't it, Ian?
Good win.
It's good to be the king.
Yeah.
Good win.
So we're going to have to suss out what our seeding looks like in the playoff, depending on what happens.
Someone said, Ian, this was for you. They said, Ian's got to be happy finding out that Miami was eliminated this week.
Are they eliminated?
Yeah.
Sure.
It's an SMU versus Clemson ACC title game.
Yeah, but they could still get in as an at-large team.
No. All over, buddy.
What's their record?
10-2.
10-2.
They could still be in.
It's all over.
I haven't done all the calculations, so yeah, I didn't want to play that team. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
I've been saying Texas is like a star running back away from just being able to win and run game and defense.
Yeah.
We'll see how Wisner holds up, but he might be able to do it.
He needs
the last two games, man.
He needs some ice baths and 800 milligrams of ibuprofen.
And this is coming from Ian, running game doesn't matter, Boyd.
True.
I just wrote about this actually on the Substack. The defenses have caught up so much now that your the run game is almost like having that isolation mid-range score in the NBA where it becomes a good option because it's the only option.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Michigan did it that way last year. Maybe Texas could do it. They need Quinn to play a second half at some point. But
He handed off pretty well in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, he's been doing that well at least.
Sark treated A&M rightfully so, like a nameless, faceless opponent standing between him and his team's goal, locked in right from game day to the final whistle. He was pretty intense on his game day interview.
Yeah.
He was like focused, especially also having to do an interview in front of a hostile crowd too is probably not your best thing ever. But you could tell he was intense from that interview. And Sark will have that kind of demeanor about him a couple times a season. He's normally not playing around when that happens. That was solid. I am interested in how, if he talks about them cheating the crowd noise and cheating the music and all that kind of stuff. I thought that was interesting.
So Sark's so above that kind of stuff. Like, I never hear Sark complain about anything. He's going to give credit to the players. He's going to give credit to the fans that showed up. He's going to talk about his guys, his team being prepared. Yeah. Sark is not – I'll be shocked if he talks about the crowd noise situation, unless somebody asks him. But
they will. This
is a huge win, dude. Enjoy this and go. Let's focus on bigger things. This was supposed to be a much bigger win than it was, but dude,
11-1, first season in the SEC. We get to play for an SEC championship, man. Like, you don't want to smell the roses, but smell the roses, man. Like, it's pretty cool, man.
Is this Connor? What?
Yeah.
What's happened to you?
See, I'm hypercritical until there's a tipping point.
Oh,
yeah, and then once so now like we're airing for me like house money now. So it's like I'm kind of good, but you have to get to that point or else I'm hypercritical. But once you get there, like once we beat it was last year, it was winning Big 12. I don't know if I feel about that this year, but once I hit that point, it's house money, man. It's all good. We just have to meet that level.
When Connor goes to heaven, he'll be like, "There's no rated R movies." And that's okay.
There's got to be.
It's fine.
There's a point there. So yeah, I'm definitely I can be hypercritical, but until I think I'm good now. Beating A&M, man, I think I'm real good now.
See, we need to get, instead of putting reindeer on your truck for the next month, you need to put some Longhorns on the front.
Yep.
Did you see the maniac who rode the Longhorn into College Station?
Yes.
Yeah.
Love that guy.
With a blue healer sitting on the back of it.
Why not?
That's elite.
Yeah, dude, if you can learn how to ride a Longhorn, dude.
Mongo and Blazing Saddles. That's amazing.
Now the real thing to do is, if you're on Twitter, go look at Texas A&M TAMU police.
Yeah, they're hilarious.
Yeah. That's where you want to be tonight. If you don't have anything else to do after this, just go scroll and look at Texas A&M University Police Department. That should be a fun watch.
Hey, the 12th man was the difference. The Aggies had a important play where Ewers got sacked, and they had 12 men on the field. So there you go. They did.
I saw a great complaint from an Aggie. I don't want to blow him up. He's a nice guy, but he was complaining on Twitter that they didn't give Texas A&M enough time to substitute on that play, and it was like, well, you didn't substitute.
It was the same guy.
I ran out on the field, and the other defensive linemen were like, no, go back.
Yeah, that's not the substitution rule.
Yeah.
No.
That's a dude who didn't know what he was doing.
That's Aggies being Aggies.
Yeah. Aggied it up.
They were there. It didn't matter because they ended up just getting pummeled anyway in the key moments. But Elko was making some just bizarre decisions.
Yeah, Paul talked about that earlier, that his game management was super suspect.
Yeah, he called like a timeout before the 2-minute warning on a 3rd and 1.
Yeah.
And he had another timeout too that didn't make a lot of sense. And he had to call one in the first half. It wasn't a big disaster, but he called one in the first half because of they sent the Arch Manning package out there and they panicked and called timeout.
Yeah, I thought the timeout to whether we're going to go for it on 4th and 1, like, we talked about this, but you have to know on 3rd and 1 what you're going to do.
Yes, that one was
predetermined. Now, if you got sacked or something crazy happened and you lose 11 yards, you know what's going to happen. You're going to run out the field goal team, right? But there was no yardage exchange. In fact, I think A&M gained like 6 inches on that play.
Yeah.
So whatever you had dialed up, You should have already discussed this as a staff. And he didn't. That's weird.
It's tough. Tough luck.
I guess that's sometimes having a defensive coach as your head coach has an effect.
Oh, man, was fun. That was fun.
Apparently they're blaming Colin Klein, which is like
honestly, Colin Klein. I mean, we've played against Colin Klein before, right? I mean, we've
this is our third time to face him.
Sark has never lost to K-State.
Yeah, and PK always schools Klein unless they start throwing heavy at the end and then catch up. But they've never Kansas State has never been an effective running team against us.
Never.
Hey, Connor, on your stats, can you pull up? Do they have missed tackles on there?
I have no idea.
Man, I don't think so.
Because A&M, I remember in the previews I was writing about, hey, this Aggie defense misses a lot of tackles. They miss over 10 a game. How many times did Trey Wisner get contact, slid off the guy, and just kept progressing up the field for 8 yards?
A ton of times.
I mean, every time.
Yeah.
I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't. And just like his cutback lane, I mean, it seemed like everything was there.
He did a lot last week too. That's on Trey, man.
That one cutback where they stopped it and showed the slow-mo, and then Gooseby just caved down that whole side.
Yep.
That was just wicked, man. The running game's beautiful when you execute it.
Yeah, it is art whenever it goes well. The last two games, man, Wisner looks like he's in the Matrix, dude. Like he's just like everyone's moving at a different speed than him. Like his refresh rate is fast.
I'm telling you, they're timed up and they're holding their double teams longer and then slipping out later.
I was about to say they're buying him time.
Yeah.
Because they're holding the line, and so he's just can wait to make his decision until the linebackers commit.
He's playing peekaboo with the linebackers and safeties and making them wrong on what their guess is.
Yep.
Or they're contacting him, and he's apparently the strongest 192-pound guy on the planet.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's going to go against Georgia doing that again, but it seems like the outside zone running game is really – it's like the bread and butter now. And that's generally one of the tougher run plays to defend for any defense if you do it right.
If Georgia plays the defense they played against Georgia Tech with just 3 down and trying to figure the rest out, I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, the running element of the quarterback for Georgia Tech really gave them problems.
That really did.
Yeah, that was interesting.
It was interesting.
Kind of reminded me of the old Nick Saban Bama game where Georgia Southern dropped like 270 yards rushing on them. Do you remember that? And Saban in the post game, people are like, "Oh, what happened?" He's like, "We got outcoached. We didn't know how to play it. They don't know how to. They don't see the option. They don't know what to do."
Right.
And we taught them, and they freaked out and panicked. And they had like 5 first-rounders on that defense. So, defense is kind of like run fast, be strong, be aggressive, but also like you kind of got to know what you're doing. And maybe that's the thing, Drew, that gets underestimated about our defense. They know what they're doing. Like all the guys play their position correctly.
Honestly, that's why. I mean, we beat A&M by 10 points with. I mean, how many turnovers did the offense have? 2?
2 big ones.
2 in this.
And two big ones. That's where I feel. Even against Georgia or anybody else, if we get into a fight, I trust our guys in a fight.
Yeah. I
trust the fight. I'd love a blowout, but I trust us in a fight. If we just protect the football, I trust us in a fight.
So do I. Yeah.
Not to mention the character building aspects. If you blow people out, you don't get to develop character, right, Drew?
I know. There's no value in. Yeah. That's why we haven't played anybody.
No, we're trying to keep that fourth quarter viewership. That number matters.
Hey, aren't y'all glad that Haynes King still isn't at Texas A&M?
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Legitimately.
He's solid.
That throwing motion though, man.
There are some people thinking we'd see Wegman in the second half because Marcel Reed got banged up. It's like they wouldn't make life that easy for us.
When he tripped himself up on that 2 little foot thing, that was weird.
What?
when Marcel Reed like tripped himself up and connected both of his
Oh,
feet.
yeah.
That was a weird way to fall.
You know what? I thought he was out of the game when he did
So
that.
did
I thought he messed up a tendon or something. But
I would have loved Wigman to get put in the game, dude. I would have loved that.
Well, I mean, they can't.
Man,
Dude,
that would have been fun.
Wegman's level of intellect against RD.
I know, dude. It would have been so many sacks too because he can't move.
No, bro.
Yeah, it would just been a haze. Oh, bro.
No, bro.
Nah, bro. There's a cloud in my shoe, dog.
No. Man, that's going to live forever. All right, fellas. You guys have any final thoughts besides
I saw
reading the A&M boards after we get off here?
Great. Texas opens as a 1.5 point favorite against Georgia on FanDuel.
Sark, we need that Kirby psychology. We need to be underdogs so we can lie to our team like we're not talented and then no one's respecting us.
Georgia only plays hard against us, and it really pisses me off.
I know, me too. Me and Paul that whole week, we had solid analysis about how this is not the Georgia of the past, and we can prove it and back it up. And then they played against
us. It's the worst to like nail
every other game.
Yes, and then they prove you right, but against us, they just like ball out. They have a great game plan. Yeah. They play so hard, like everything that they're capable of, they do.
Yeah.
On defense, mind you, their offense tried to throw the game away, but
you know what? Their receivers dropped the ball so much. There's no reason we should lose this game. I'm sorry,
dude. Arian, that dude is a lot. Like, did he drop the ball at the most crucial spot?
3 or 4 balls.
Yeah, and he dropped like a game winner, just crazy stuff.
We should not lose this game. We should have lost the last one.
Hey, we know all of their 2-point conversion plays.
Dude, exactly.
And we know all of their short yardage plays.
I was going to say we know they're 3rd and 4th because once you're out of 3 2-points, you're all in. It's all 3rd and 4th.
That's what I was going to say. They ran out of 2-point plays in 3 overtimes in, and the rest they're running their best short yardage stuff.
That's it.
So,
did you we all going nuts, like clamoring for either team to run the ball? Like I know 3 yards is.
Oh, I was.
I wanted Georgia Tech to run the ball. Yeah.
Yeah, Georgia Tech.
What are you guys doing?
They made the whole game running the ball and then decided not to do any triple option, nothing.
Well, Georgia tried to convert 1 2-pointer with a Carson Beck keeper on a fake toss.
Yeah.
And he got lit up.
Anyway.
I think he's Case McCoy on HGH.
Yeah.
Well, he throws a good back shoulder fade
when it's to his team.
I kind of think Carson Beck is actually pretty good this year, and he has just the most garbage wide receiver group of any. Like, can you imagine if they had like one NFL wide receiver?
Well, they must be running all the wrong routes because he throws
the amount of picks.
Yeah,
it's the interceptions, but he still throws really nice stuff too.
I don't know. I just know Brock Bowers is a cheat code, even in the NFL. So
yeah,
that says a lot.
I don't know. It's gonna be fun to dive back into Georgia, man.
Yep.
No, it's not because all of our analysis will be like this team underachieves, they're undisciplined, and they're gonna go out and play like
gangbusters. Been essentially a home game for them in Atlanta. All right, guys. Man, that was fun.
Right. That was fun.
It only took 13 years, fellas.
11-1.
Back at
Not
it.
bad. Let's keep going.
Yeah.
Balance is restored. Poor Aggie.
Yeah,
that's right.
Drew, thank you,
Nature is
Paul.
feeling itself.
Yep. Paul, thank you. Ian, thank you. Fans, thank y'all.
Matthew
Have a great night. Hook 'em, y'all.